concert, thousands of people. You go to a boxing fight. One of the famous Mexican fighters has a record of filling the Aztec stadium that holds 110,000 people. Sometimes we have to be careful whether we are preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ or we are using the gospel as a means for something else. So, I want a plane. Go ahead. So, some of the recent issues they have found in some these pastors is that they all have planes, their own private plane, because they cannot fly with commercial airlines. Because one of them says it's full of demons, so I need my own plane so I don't get into that. That's when we have to compare how did Jesus address that and how they are addressing this issue. Imagine that it's true. Jesus was told, my daughter, and this is one of the stories in the lesson, a woman approached him and says, my daughter is possessed. What did he say? We remember that the apostles were like, stay, get away, you're bothering him. Stay away. But she kept going until she finally him and he said, what do you want? What do you need? And she explained to him what the problem was. And he says, yeah, but I was called for the children of Israel. And this is a very interesting story because it's kind of shocking sometimes the way when we read it, when Jesus says it's not right that we provide, that the food of the children of the house is given to the dogs. And this woman said, you remember what this lady said? Well, even the dogs pick up from the crumbs that fall from the table. And then Jesus said what? Faith is powerful. Let it be done as you wish. He didn't go to this lady's house to get the demons out. He just said, let it be done like that. Just like you said, like you want. And what happened if Jesus had said, well, there are demons there. I'm not going to go there. There are sinful people there. I'm not going to go there. That's not the message of Jesus Christ. The message is to go where those people are in need. So, but how can we? The first step, and this is what Paul was doing, was mentioning, I have heard all these things that are happening. And he would encourage people, you should not be doing that. You should not be trying to take advantage of the poor people. You should be serving them. You should be helping them. And he would send letters of encouragement. This is what you need to do. These are the things that I have seen. And then he cites all the fruits of the flesh. You remember, I know you don't remember them because you don't think about that. What are the fruits of the flesh? It's a whole list. Selfish, lasciviousness, pride, And at the end of the list says all these things, stay away from them. Now, how can you do that? Because some of the challenges we have is, especially when we share this message, we go and tell people, you should not do this. But we don't discuss how. So we're happy to give them a little leaflet, give them a new Bible, and then on your own. Well, Jesus told many people, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Don't eat meat. Don't eat. Following him. Okay, this is important. Let me ask you. Sorry to interrupt you. We just discussed in the beginning that we have to have the same purpose. Yes. But the purpose, the same. Amen. Amen. So what was happening in Philippi was there were a lot of issues, and people were not acting right. But there were people that were actually reporting these things, and Paul writing to Paul, and these things are happening. What do we do? And that's where the how part comes. Paul would say, okay, we have to, Jesus would tell people, go and sin no more. It is, don't do these things. Don't do these things. So we have to identify the problems. You cannot solve a problem unless you identify it. You identify the sources, and then Jesus would sit with people. What do you want? What can I do for you? The how now is sometimes we have to sit with people and listen. But listen to understand their issues. Not listening, which is what the lesson says, not listening to reply. Because sometimes we are listening to tell them, you're wrong, and you're wrong, you're wrong. And then suddenly they stop talking. Why do they stop talking? So
you're judging that person, and so instead of you uplifting them, you're discouraging them, because sometimes all a person need is just for someone to listen, not really do anything, just listen.
So I'm going to try not to, well, now we have a mic. So if somebody would read Philippians 2, 3 to 4. Philippians 2, 3 to 4.
Let nothing be done through strife, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of
So that is the how. Don't take care of yourself. Take care of others. So imagine that again. Let's try to keep this example of the person in the emergency room. Imagine that the surgeon says, "Well, I am not hurt. Why do I have to deal with this person? I'm fine." The whole purpose of his life, his training, his mission would be useless because he is there to help people. Are we sometimes in that situation where we have the opportunity to serve, we have the opportunity to preach, we have the opportunity to witness, to testify, we have the opportunity to help somebody, and when we don't have the opportunity, we seek for opportunities. Because sometimes we can sit here and say, "Well, I was not invited. Nobody told me to come and read text for the sermon. Nobody asked me. I'm not going." But we can do other things. And sometimes the enemy wants us to precisely do the selfish thing. I come in the church and nobody says hello to me. Nobody even notices. But you didn't say hello to anybody. You didn't go and tell other people happy Sabbath. So the reason sometimes people don't notice us is because we hide in just the group. And we're satisfied going home. I went to church, I'm fine. And who is advising that? Who is the advisor for that type of approach where I don't participate, I don't do anything, I just come to church, I feel good, I come to the sermon because I come at 11. I come at 11, I'm good. And the enemy says, "You're fine. You don't have to go to church." In fact, going to church on the Sabbath, on Saturday, that's very uncomfortable. Go to a Sunday church. You get there at 11, at 12 you're done, and then you go have lunch with everybody. Try to get in this area, try to get lunch on Sunday around noon. You have every single restaurant is packed with people coming out of church. And then you're fine. That's what the enemy wants. You're fine. And then, does that mean that